first, we've got breaking news. And here comes the man that always brings us said breaking news in the NBA. It's our NBA insider, Shams Charania. Give it to us. What you got?
Free agent center Deandre Ayton has reached agreement on a 2-year deal to sign with the Los Angeles Lakers. So Lakers have found their big man, their center, after 2 days into free agency. And now they have the #1 and #3 pick from the 2018 NBA draft with Deandre Ayton and Luka Doncic. I'm told the Knicks, Clippers, Bucks, Pacers, Cavs, and Nuggets all had interest in Ayton before his decision to sign with the Lakers. Multiple teams also reached out to Portland Trailblazers general manager Joe Cronin after the buyout of Ayton on Sunday. And I'm told they all got rave reviews of him as a teammate. But listen, the pressure now is on in Los Angeles to build a winner, a contender around Luka Doncic and LeBron James. They've needed a center. Rob Pelinka, their president of basketball operations, he's spoken since the end of last season. We need to find a starting center, someone that can serve as a lob threat for Luka Doncic. 2 days into free agency, Rob Pelinka, Deandre Ayton's agents, reached an agreement on a 2-year deal with a player option for the big man to be in L.A.
Bit of an injury-plagued season for Ayton last year in Portland. He was limited to just 40 games, but he did shoot 56% from the field in the games that he played. Now, El Duncan back with you on SportsCenter with more on our breaking news just this hour. Shams Charania reporting that former #1 overall pick Deandre Ayton cleared waivers and agreed to a deal with the Lakers. 2 years with a player option. He negotiated a buyout with the Blazers because he said he wanted to play for a winner, and there was apparently some stiff competition to get him. But alas, he's in Hollywood. And here's what a potential lineup could look like for the Lakers with Ayton sliding into that starting center role. He does, of course, add a much-needed size to a Lakers team that ranked in the bottom third of the league in rebounding percentage last season. Let's bring in our front office insider, Bobby Marks, for much more on this and to break it down. Let's talk about it. How you like to fit Ayton with the Lakers?
Yeah, I mean, considering where they were about 10 hours ago, it's certainly an improvement here. I mean, we had Jared Vanderbilt as their starting center, and no offense to Jared Vanderbilt, but he's better served coming off the bench. Ayton was the best available center that was left in the free agent market, certainly coming off that buyout here. I think 82% of his shots are field goal percentage at the rim last year. I think the one concern for me, El, is not really a paint presence as far as blocking shots, less than 1 last year in Portland here, but certainly fills a need, something the Lakers needed. There's still some work to do, especially for that bench. They need some perimeter shooting, but it's a good start for an offseason that started off a little bit slow here. Yeah,
a good start. I would say the odds makers are not overwhelmed by the moves because their odds, the Lakers, to win the Western Conference moved from plus 1,000 to plus 900 with the Ayton acquisition. Let's go over to Milwaukee because we know they've lost 2 of their key pieces. Damian Lillard, Brook Lopez are both gone. They did land Miles Turner, but one anonymous exec told ESPN this move is, quote, reckless. What are your thoughts on the offseason that they're having?
I don't know if I'd go reckless. I'd say probably more desperate. I mean, I think when you look at where Milwaukee was, and listen, they took the Damian Lillard money and they stretched it out over 5 years. It's basically, Al, if I gave you a credit card and said you had 0% interest on it, but you had to pay 40% in years 2 to 5 when you start paying something, that's where the cost is going to hit Milwaukee here, is that it's not about the future, it's about the now for Milwaukee. When you add Miles Turner to this roster in Milwaukee, they'll figure it out, the dead cap hit down the road here, but it's something they had to do. They didn't have many options at all when you look at their roster and the lack of draft equity here. That was really their lone big move, was to take that Lillard money, stretch it out, and going out and get a player like Miles Turner.
If you gave me a credit card with no limit, by the way, and then said I would have to pay 40% of taxes before that hit, I would probably get a new Social Security and go into witness protection. Bobby Marks, thank you so much for your insight here.
NBA